let's talk about you again. Do you have any career regrets?
Well, if I say no, I'm lying.
Yeah.
Right? But can I say I don't like the regret?
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say, like, perhaps I like to rephrase that.
Yeah.
And so I think there's too many things I can learn from.
Yes.
Yeah, but the regret doesn't really help me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I would say, well, many things, and I could have done differently, or a lot of things I learned, I could have learned early on.
Yeah.
But I learned later on, so means if you learn it now, and at that time, you didn't know, that's still, you are learning. So,
yeah, of course.
Yeah,
that's right.
so that's why I say, if I will think about it I could learn early on or earlier, and let me say, the understanding of other people. I think I wanted to, and if you give me a second chance, I would spend a little bit more time to do that.
Yeah.
Especially teamwork. And so as I mentioned that, I like to work on multiple different things. You certainly find me in the jungle, right? Yeah. So I'm not only I jump from one to the other, and in the meantime, at the same time, I like to maximize the number of hours I work, and also I like to optimize the number of how much outcome I could deliver. So which basically work multiple hours, multiple type of things at the same time, and also organize in such a way to get maximum outcome.
Yeah.
So because of that, and I train myself doing things, you got to do fast, you got to be very organized, and you have to, to have a hard bar for. And then because I was doing that, and I expected other people to do the same.
Yeah, okay.
Was, I think, one of my, my boss. Actually a very good piece of advice, and I say, Catherine, you slow down. So you also need to say, look, your team is good. You got to broaden the influence. And to say, look, you were able to, you do it. So I made a progress, and I say, look, I can do it fast. I taught other people. So this team is functional, hyper-function.
Yeah.
And then you find, well, actually, you're going too fast. The whole organization is all the arms, and one arm cannot move without the other legs and limbs to move together.
Yeah.
So that's the part which is I should have learned, actually realized early. And so now I think there is one thing I learned through on the journey is how do I balance?
Okay.
How do I balance of the expectation from my own experience and understand what people's background and how do they work? And once you have this group, and how do you scale? Yeah. Yeah.
So that's something you kind of touched on there, and we talked about actually before we started recording, was that you're trying to consciously slow down.
Yes.
What does that look like?
Slow down. Okay, how that look like is, I think now we live in this digital world of everything is fast, and quick. More and more. So that is almost everywhere. So I had a burnout occasionally, happened, right? Because I already had a tendency of doing extra, doing more. And eventually I learned the lesson about, through a really painful experience, and you burn out. So at that time, and I say, and do we really actually, what is the purpose? What are we trying to do? And then now, work with different team, and also look at, you look back what you have achieved, what you wanted to do, what is important for you. Mm-hmm. I literally noticed that I myself, and I'm not putting enough time to think because it's become a robot. So you continuously just do, next. And when you do next, and you multiple. So that is how, so now during one of the conversation, which is, the counseling situation, and I say, you got to start thinking of slow down in a way of you go to respond, not react. Because if only react, your instinct and biological, right? But if there is no thinking process, there is no transition from your thought, from your brain process into your action.
Yeah.
You just autopilot. So there become autopilot. What's the difference? So now it's so purposefully, and you got to think about it. So you got to slow down to create this head space. If we don't slow down, at least to me, if I don't slow down, I cannot give myself enough time to transfer, to think, and to respond. Yeah. So that's the part I think there is. I think this was a great advice I have received, and that is I have actually, think about it, how I deal with my with my teenagers and at home, and with people at work.
Yeah.
So it works. Yeah.
That's correct.
So
it's also a protective measure for yourself, self-protection.
Well, how do you define the self-protection?
It's self-nurturing in terms of resilience, and you say if you're constantly on the go and chasing and fast, and at some point you've got nothing left.
Yes, you're running on an empty tank.
And you have to replenish
yes.
and take care of yourself as well through that.
Yes. I think, again, and then now is still when we were talking about replenish and, the running on the empty tank, you take care of yourself. And what's your value? What is your purpose? What are you trying to do?
Yeah.
What are you trying to do at the end of the day, or what trying to do at the end of the quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I heard an interview recently with the American or Canadian sprinter Carl Lewis, who's very famous, I think, in the 90s. But he was talking about how his strategy when he ran a race was to run at 85% of his maximum ability. Because what he identified in the other runners is they came out the blocks at 100%, and they got maybe 70% through the race and had nothing left in the tank. Whereas he knew if he ran the entire race at 85%, he would win. And always having that little bit left in reserve, not always having to have your foot flat to the floor, was his secret to success. And I thought that was quite interesting, because there is a tendency to start every morning, turn on your computer, your laptop, whatever it is, and off you go 100 miles an hour, and it's a race till the end of the day. But there's probably not a lot left to you at the end of that day to enjoy life.
It is true, and I would say that's just a very interesting analogy. I was in the high school time. I like to run, and I stopped running, and now I need to do more. And my best friend, she liked to sprint. So there is every time she will be the first one, sprint the first 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, and after the second 100, and then she's almost done. And so that, if you run for 800 meters, and I finish my run, I still have to give her companion to keep going, right? And so, But my strategy at that time was I never ran as the lead. I always follow the lead. I always follow the lead, the first one or the second one. I will not allow myself to be, be the fourth place, because once you reach the fourth place, don't get any medals or anything. So you're going to have the first top three, right? Yeah. So three is, I quite often find myself at the three is a magic number for me. And I follow the lead. And it's around 80% or 85, 90%. And I reserve the energy. And hopefully, not every time, but I don't remember how many times, but I was able to actually pass the first one and then take the score, So, yeah, that's...